All right, folks, we have some breaking news. Late last night, Donald Trump announced that a ceasefire had been reached between Israel and Iran, and he boldly declared that that ceasefire would last forever. And MAGA Republicans began immediately tripping over themselves in public to voice praise on Trump and to declare that he should win the Nobel Peace Prize. Unfortunately for him and for them, that ceasefire never got off the ground because both countries continued to exchange missile strikes before, during, and after the ceasefire deadline, globally humiliating Trump. And when Trump engaged with reporters this morning, he was visibly pissed, and he admitted that both countries had violated the ceasefire, and he even dropped the F-bomb at both Israel and Iran in a clip which has now gone viral. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we've got a lot to talk about and a few clips to show, and we're going to start with this one here. This has gone viral. This is Donald Trump, super pissed and humiliated.
Israel says that Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Yeah, he's pissed. Listen, Donald Trump is really crass, really crude, and he lashes out and insults people all the time, but he very rarely says fuck, okay? I mean, so he's mad. This guy is mad because he was humiliated. He got over his skis. He declared this ceasefire before it was confirmed by Iran and Israel, and the missile strikes continued before, during, and after. And I believe a strike by Iran killed 4 Israelis. And Israel's killed far more Iranians in this particular hot war than vice versa. But I think one of those strikes was not impotent. It killed 4 Israelis. So Trump is pissed and he's humiliated. The MAGA Republicans declaring that he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize are probably humiliated as well, although shamelessness is their superpower. Trump issued a blunt warning to Israel on Tuesday to, quote, not bomb Iran as he departed for the NATO summit in The Hague, taking a critical position just 24 hours after brokering a fragile ceasefire already threatened after a missile strike from Iran. Speaking to reporters before takeoff, Trump said that both Israel and Iran had breached the terms of the truce and made it clear he was not pleased. And as a matter of fact, I think we've got the tweet right here. Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you do it, it is a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. We've got some other clips to play. Democrats, of course, are rightly mocking Trump for getting over his skis and declaring without evidence that this would last forever. Trump says he expects the Israel-Iran ceasefire will last forever. The next day, they both violated it. Last night, Trump says the ceasefire will last forever. This morning, Trump says both Israel and Iran violated the ceasefire. Again, that's true. Here's a different clip, again, in which he confirms both countries violated the ceasefire that he declared or announced just a few hours earlier.
You urge both sides not to violate the ceasefire, but reports coming from the region suggest that the sides accuse each other for violating the ceasefire. So
I think they both violated it. Yeah, I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back. I don't like the fact that Israel went out this morning at all, and I'm going to see if I can stop it. So as soon as I get away from you, I'm going to see if I can stop it, okay?
And so he did call Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and that did change the trajectory of the last attack by Israel against Iran. So Barak Ravid details Trump's, quote, exceptionally firm and direct call with Netanyahu as ceasefire teetered. Trump personally pressured Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to halt a retaliatory strike on Iran on Tuesday in a tense intervention just hours after a fragile U.S.-brokered ceasefire took effect. The flare-up began when Iran launched a missile at Israel shortly after the ceasefire deadline, an allegation Tehran denied. In response, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz greenlit an airstrike with fighter jets en route to targets near Iran. After engaging with a press gaggle in which Trump appeared furious and cursed out both countries, Trump called the Israeli prime minister directly from Air Force One while en route to the NATO summit in Europe. One White House official told Barak Ravid, Axios' global affairs correspondent, that Trump was, quote, angry and spoke to Netanyahu in, quote, an exceptionally firm and direct way, end quote, to convince him to, quote, completely cancel the attack. Quote, Trump told Netanyahu that what needed to happen to sustain the ceasefire. The prime minister understood the severity of the situation and concerns that Trump expressed, the White House source told Ravid. Trump then declared the crisis over. According to Israeli officials, however, also speaking to Axios, Netanyahu insisted that he, quote, could not cancel the strike, and some response was necessary to the morning's missile attack from Iran. Israeli officials confirmed that they had then decided to call off further strikes and scale back the attack from multiple targets to just one, a strike on a radar system that had already taken place before Trump's call. So they did strike, they just struck a radar installation and then took back off. Now, again, it's interesting that Trump is calling out Israel so bluntly. Even Fox News is taking note of this. The Fox News, which is very pro-Israel, very Israel-friendly, very Netanyahu-friendly, is admitting this. Trump tells Lawrence Jones he's angrier at Israel than Iran over broken ceasefire. So let's take a look at this clip. Of course, I have to refresh.
They basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Wow, and there too, a lot of people are talking about the expletive at the end, but that's he just being honest.
He's furious.
Right.
I had the opportunity to just talk to him before we just went on air for the 8 o'clock hour, and I said, I haven't seen you this upset in a while. What's really going on? He had just hung up with Bibi Netanyahu, the prime minister, and he said that the prime minister is bringing all the planes back. I said, why are you so frustrated with Israel? And he says, because he didn't feel like it was good faith, that even though they still had some time until the ceasefire, that they essentially unloaded on Iran. I said, what about Iran as it relates to some of the reports that they're still doing their program? He says they got to save face for the country. They still got to appear to be strong. But he goes, their program is done. He said, our pilots fixed all of that when they hit their targets there. But he goes, I'm not happy with both of them, but more so Israel, because he goes, it's over, it's done. The program is done.
Well,
So that last part, that their nuclear program is done, again, there's no evidence to corroborate that. As a matter of fact, there's increasing reporting, increasing evidence that what the Trump strike did against Iran's nuclear program was to severely damage, but not irreversibly damage, Iran's nuclear facilities, and that much of the enriched uranium had been moved prior to the strikes to an undisclosed location, meaning that that program is absolutely still workable if Iran chooses to pursue it. So I think, there's no evidence to corroborate Trump's claim there, number one. Number two, yes, both countries, after the ceasefire was announced, continued to strike one another. I think Israel was the first one to initiate a salvo against targets, near Tehran, and then Iran responded and killed four Israelis. I don't know if they were civilians or military targets in their counterattack, and then Israel was preparing to launch their own against multiple sites in Tehran, and that was when Trump intervened, and so only a radar installation was struck instead. But that ceasefire was broken. It was violated by both countries before, during, and after Trump's announcement. And so it never got off the ground. And this is why Trump is not pissed because of lives lost. I have no reason to believe that. Hundreds of Iranians have been killed. I think dozens of Israelis have been killed. Like, they're still tabulating, but both countries are still tabulating the final body count. I think it's just he's got egg on his face. He's like, hell yeah, man! I achieved peace in the Middle East. I got it done. I snapped my fingers, made it happen. It's gonna last forever. And it never got off the ground. It was being violated as he spoke. And then after the deadline was hit, they continued to violate it. That's where we are. Donald Trump was humiliated on the world stage. I hope that there is a lasting ceasefire. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.